Hi everyone, my name is Silas Nyamekye, and today I'm presenting on the topic Cybersecurity Risk Management in Small Medium Enterprises. These are the authors of this paper. In 2020, the introduction and motivation of this paper is the fact that small medium enterprises are the backbone of global economies, and increasing IT adoption like cloud computing, e-commerce brings benefit and at the same time creates cyber risk. And also managers often underestimate cybersecurity threats in small, medium enterprises, thinking that attacks are mostly focused on big companies. There is a need for understanding risk management from a managerial perspective in the area of cybersecurity. The importance of cybersecurity in small and medium enterprises. Cyber attacks threaten financial health, operations, and reputation. In which sense, I would say the number of occurrences of attacks can be quantified into its costs. We can look at talking about annual loss expectancy, annual rate of occurrences, and all these affect the financial health of these SMEs, their operations, and also reputation. When attackers attack passwords, they attack web servers, and users or customers are not able to operate and get access to this website, accessibility or availability become compromised, integrity, confidentiality is also destroyed. Now, SMEs are vulnerable due to limited resources and expertise. Impact extends beyond the SMEs to supply chains and national economies. And this is why it is important to have cybersecurity in SMEs. The research methodology used in this paper focuses on literature review, databases search includes corpus focused, and targeting keywords also was important as a methodology in this paper. 5 key cybersecurity risk management perspectives include cybersecurity threats, behaviors, practices, awareness, and decision making. All these are factors to be considered in risk management. Now let's look at cybersecurity threats in SMEs. Common threats may include data breaches, destruction, denial of service, and when attackers are able to get access to your web server, they can create a lot of destruction and will deny users of getting access to websites, changing of passwords, causing problems with confidentiality and integrity. Many SMEs underestimate likelihood and impact because they don't know the cost of all these vulnerabilities and threats because they are less educated on these effects. And weak defenses due to lack of expertise, outdated methods also create cybersecurity threats. We are going to look at my expansion with vulnerability assessment tools on how small and medium enterprises can be attacked or how the threat will impact their enterprise due to cybersecurity behaviors that are not encouraged. If we're looking at the tool um, using the open source operation system called Kali Linux, and we'll be using the N mapping or the network mapping. And also we will look at the Nessus tool for vulnerability assessment to see how open ports can affect small and medium enterprises for their server to be remotely um, attack. One of the weak behaviors that users or workers of small medium enterprises can exhibit is by sharing their Wi-Fi password, which they are not supposed to share, with customers or anybody who could be a potential attacker. What happens is that by sharing your password, Wi-Fi password, it gives access to your IP address to attackers. And you can just type in the IP address and scan. And this vulnerability tool will be able to bring out open ports and categorize these vulnerabilities in terms of critical, high, medium, and low. Now let's get into detail and see some of the critical by putting in potential uh, IP address. And we could tell from this that there are about 4 critical conditions of vulnerabilities in this IP address. And we have the VNC server used password as password, which is a very weak password. And attackers can gain a shell remotely to take over that server. When you go move forward now and look detailed, you can tell with the description in this Nexus vulnerability assessment tool tells us that the VNC server running on the remote host is secured with a weak password. Nexus was able to log in using VNC authentication and a password of password. A remote unauthenticated attacker can exploit this to take control of the system. So meaning there's authentication problem here due to bad practices or using weak passwords as a behavior in cybersecurity risk. So you can tell that an unauthenticated attacker can be able to gain remote access to this server. Now, the second tool we'll be looking at is the open source operation system, the Kali Linux network mapping. Now, we use the same here. I use the same IP address and scan and put in the command nmap the IP address. And what happens is that you see the ports, you have the columns here, you have port, state, and service. Now the port open ports here, and you can tell from the green arrow that the port 5900/TCP is open, which is the same thing as the one that was in the Nexus tool, and it tells you the port open and the service that can be exploited, the VNC server. So this tool can also help you find out ports which are open and further commands in this open source operation system can help you as an attacker to exploit vulnerabilities by using another tool like Metasploit to gain access. Now you can tell that cybersecurity behaviors like sharing passwords, using sharing Wi-Fi password, using weak passwords can create vulnerability on your network and server. So employee compliance with security policies are very important. And also training improves knowledge, but also you can know that after the training, if there are not better behaviors, the training will be vain. Attitude and awareness is more influential than knowledge alone. So the attitude and awareness are all behaviors in cybersecurity that needs to be promoted. And negative behaviors heighten risks despite awareness and all programs. Let's look at some cybersecurity practices. Small medium enterprises often show limited engagement with formal security standards. And there's a risky practice occur unconsciously. Now, sourcing cloud is helpful but not sufficient. and also training insufficient without practical policy enforcement. And all these are some of the cybersecurity practices in SMEs that affect them. Cybersecurity awareness about threats are very low among the small and medium enterprise employees. There's lack of knowledge on attack. Um, Now, lack of knowledge on attack reduce protective behaviors. If there's knowledge about how attacks can affect their operations, it will cause a heightened protection behavior or attitude. And due to the fact that SMEs come in different forms, there are areas of finance, areas of um, uh, fashion, supply, and an aspect of attack called reconnaissance and footprinting. Due to that fact, I think there should be a tailored awareness program focusing on various SMEs to help them with their vulnerabilities and how it will impact their businesses. Now let's look at the cybersecurity decision making. Unlike bigger companies, tasks and responsibilities are divided among various roles, but with SMEs, the manager multitask and sometimes they overlook the cybersecurity role they need to play because the owners are the primary decision makers of every aspect of the business. And also, just as I said, multitasking role pressures can limit cybersecurity focus. So there should be enhancing managerial cybersecurity culture. The findings of this paper talks about the fact that the focus was on developed countries like UK, USA, and Australia, and developing regions like Middle East and Africa was underrepresented. So in further studies, I'm suggesting that there will be further research in Africa, which is also a growing economy, and Middle East as well. SMEs, one of the findings from this paper is SMEs frequently adopt low-cost minimal security approaches, which in turn affect them massively and affect their financial health. Regardless of all the better frameworks put in place, awareness and compliance gaps remain due to the one key point like behavior and attitude towards these vulnerabilities and these risks. And also the managerial awareness improvement can drive better security behavior. The challenges for small and medium enterprise in cybersecurity: financial and human resource constraints, limited cybersecurity expertise, lack of prioritization by managers, employee behavior gaps, poor incident reporting and communication, organizational and cultural resistance to changes. All these are the challenges that are found in SMEs in cybersecurity. In conclusion, cybersecurity risk management must be a strategic priority in SMEs just because they make a majority of economic growth globally and nationally. Integrated approach addressing threats, behavior, awareness, practice, and decision making is very needed. The threats and the behavior shouldn't be approached separately. It should be integrated because after putting all the better frameworks together, the behavior and the practices towards these frameworks are very low. These frameworks will be of no effect. Managerial education and awareness is very critical for effective risk mitigation, and more empirical research required, especially in developing countries. So these are the gaps that are found in this research paper. And also a support mechanism and tailored program is very necessary for SME as well.